In Tavern Tales, I click on my profile, I head to my player dashboard, I look at the games that I run, and this is the one shot that's coming up. The Walking Dead, The Wolves Den. You got the Apocalypse Play Space. I have my DM notes. I took snips of the charts that I needed and put them in. And how I did that was I went onto my Discord and I found the things that I needed, and then I right clicked, copy link. We'll do that with this one right now. And then click add image, and then you paste it in, and then as you see, it shows up. With the maps, I got the maps labeled as maps. So this way I can have them as my DM handouts, so that way I can look at them and reference them. For my player characters, I have the sheets for them, so that way they can reference them, as well as how to make a character for when I open it up past the one-shots. They save slots. A couple of them you will see. Here is the town of Evergreen. I took the snipping tool. I guess it's just easier if I come down here. As you can see, on the PDF that I got, I was able to just basically cut them and match them up as well as possible to each other. And then the same thing with the tokens, and then I built them as custom tokens. Custom tokens, you come down here and it's the same thing. You just right click on it and then paste in your URL. Here I am in Tavern Tales. That's where you start out. I go over, I hit my Walking Dead. Alright, not a lot going on here, but save slots, players hangout, load. This is where my players will be slowly filtering in. Alright, and then once I get my players in, I have my GM notes. So say I get ready and I'm getting ready to run. Alright, the Wolves Den starting scene. And then save slots. Load. And then my Game Master Hangouts again, or my notes. Map, starting location. So with these two things right here, I have my DM notes and I have my map. As you can see, the map looks, there's the train trestle. There's the train trestle right here. There's that tent, the road. All this was built using assets. And then I need to figure out any context for it, I have this here. My players, their stuff is going to look like, we'll take the first one. Their stuff, they're going to be able to pull it out just as well, but they'll be able to look at it and see. So they'll have that, saves them from having to build a character in there. They move on to the next map. So as you see, I said that I stitched it together. And then the playmat portion itself is just a PDF of this. Players will be able to start out, go through, explore, take a look. And then I have my notes. There's the info on all the buildings. And then you see map right here. So I took this map and then I just built stuff on top of it. Easiest way to do it. It has that context to it. And then from here, I can see what everything's labeled. So if they go to the bar, I know the bar is building 11. It's located right here. And then I come to 11 and then I could read out the bar stuff. Once they're done with this, I can go to the next location. As you can see, it was underneath and then I just built on top of it. But I like the animated assets that they have. So if I wanted to see my notes for it, here's the map of Evergreen. This allows me to take a look at what the buildings are. And then here is my information on all of this, my DM notes. There is my corresponding stuff for each building number. And then when the players are starting their time, I have the game map. I have put these little blackout boxes onto here, so that way players won't be able to see it, and it kind of still remains a little bit of a surprise, but I can see through the fog of war. Here's where they're at first. So as I'm reading the opening narration about what's going on, they could be here, see the stuff, kind of get that sense of immersion. And then if something happens outside of this, here is a good representation about where these things are, who could be with them. Then for miniature wise, I go to my custom minis, and then you see here, like, here's how big the herd is. Let's turn some of that weight on. So here's how big the herd is. There's a level 6 herd. And then threat markers. One of my players gave me an awesome idea. He's like, you could totally scale it up. And then put it up, kind of like, oh yeah, it was right there. Kind of like it's hanging over your head. So that way the players know what the threat level is. The players' miniatures that they'll be able to use, and these are all NPCs as well. So like, here's this person. The new Apocalypse characters are all in there. And then the players should be able to, once they have their survivor, be able to, on the player side, just control who they pull out. And then go back to the players hangout. I made sure to put like what it is for quick reference. So like all the maps or where the maps go, the info of the stuff, it pops up in here. If I need to know something like a walker attacks, I've got that right there. So I can have them roll their D6, D6, and then tell them what happens. Rolling's easy. You hold A to summon the dice with The Walking Dead. It's a D6 game, year 0 by 3 Point Publishing. So you just take your dice pool, get a character up so that way we can actually try to do something. Handouts. Let's go with Rooster. He's going to be trying to shoot, so we'll say there's the agility and the ranged combat. So that's a total of 5. We'll say that he's up here and he's shooting into this crowd. Because everything's done cinematically. Instead of bullet by bullet, it's basically like scene by scene what's going on. So what I can do is take that ranged combat of 5, and then I pick up 5d6, and then I roll it. 6s count. It's giving me the result of 23, but if I click on the result, it'll tell me I got 1 6, so that's a success. So I would have effectively dropped the swarm down. And we say that this was a 4, so take it and delete that. Now it's a swarm size 3, depending on the threat levels and stuff like that. The rules are in there. It's pretty interesting. I can't wait to run this in January. When the players roll for the Dungeon Master, they'll start popping up on this side, so that way you can see it. And then any other handouts that you need, it's in there. If you want to assign stuff to people for the handout, you can see who's this held by. So my friend Epic Pancakes decided to choose this character. He was the first person to lock in his choice, so I gave it to him. The next person you can choose who it's going to. So one person could have multiple handouts, and again, they can pull them out like the Dungeon Master can. And then there is that. So I can have these on my side and say, oh, the swarm level is 3, so you can use these type of things. And the swarm size 3 is anywhere from 21 to 50. So rather than flood the area with that many and have to keep counting, we can do it those couple of ways with saying that the swarm is 3, letting you know that there is anywhere from 21 to 50 walkers. And then what's the threat level? Let's see, they're aware of them, so let's go with threat level 3.
So that makes it total of 6. So the swarm threat level, 6, is you can use force, close combat, and then the attacks are massive attacks, which doesn't necessarily mean anything to anybody unfamiliar with the system. I can take these and pull these out. Oh, that's awesome. So that way I don't accident. So that way if you accidentally are like fumbling around for stuff, you can lock and unlock your scenery. So if I go into the wolves tent, which is the first starting area, and I have those two. As you can see, like the scenery's locked with the scenery lock. If I unlock it, then as I'm going through, any of these individual bits can accidentally be grabbed and manipulated. So I like to lock it once I've done building it, and then I can put it on there. Probably better if I don't delete it when I'm trying to just add gravity to it. But here's the gravity, and then like I climb up to here, get a better line of sight. So it lends that ambiance. And it's just a better way to play. I mean, looking at this, you get that sense of scale and depth, and you can plan some stuff, get a little strategic.